Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another episode of On the Couch with Creatives. I say good morning because I'm here in the UK, but good afternoon or good evening if you're anywhere else in the world. I'm Melanie Perry.
And I'm Julie Hyde-Mew.
And this is On the Couch with Creatives. Fans and followers of the show will know that we're part of the Creatives Group, a private networking group for creative professionals across the globe. Together, we help you create, connect and grow your creative business. So if that sounds like you and you'd like to join our growing network of creative professionals, do feel free to contact us after the show. But as I say, this is On the Couch. So Julie, who do we have on the couch today?
Well, on the couch today is actor Stevyn Glover. And after acting in AmDram for the past 35 years, 3 years ago, he took the plunge and became a full-time actor. And he's been in feature films, in a variety of roles, in TV series and in commercials and on stage. So let's invite him on the couch and he can tell us all about how he did it and what kind of work he's getting.
Welcome, Stevyn.
Thank you very much for having me. Pleasure to be here. Nice to see you both.
Well, you are an interesting fellow, Stevyn. You're a marketing director, a C-suite consultant, or former. I'm not quite sure if you still keep your hand in, but you're now a full-time actor after so many years of acting in AmDram. So tell us about what made you decide to take the plunge and go full-time.
That was just a sort of a stage of life choice. I'd reached a point where I realized I really wasn't enjoying what I was doing. I wasn't getting any creative buzz from it. There was no real creative feedback from it at all. And I had some changes in my personal life, and I just thought, I just want to do something that I enjoy. And acting has been something I'd always wanted to do. I still had no idea how to go about doing it. It was a bit of a journey of discovery. And I dipped my toe in the water, then my ankle, then my whole leg. And then I went, okay, no, this is all right. I'll go for it. I mean, full-time actor is a strange term. What it essentially means is you are available full-time to do acting work, but it doesn't mean you're acting full-time all the time. That's the reality of the acting industry. So to answer your only question, I do still keep my hand in on the marketing side of things because that does help pay the bills.
I can imagine. And you know, as an older person, is it difficult? You know, the film and TV especially, you know, people want youngsters and it's all very, very well. But I mean, obviously there must be a market for older, you know, older actors like the dad or the granddad or, you know, Vikings, as we were talking about a little bit earlier before you came on. So yes. How hard is it?
It's harder if you're younger than it is if you're older. I think that's the reality. The harder part about being older and starting to do it is that mindset shift, that change, and you've got to be prepared for the fact that you're not going to always have regular work. It's going to be irregular work, and that's the shift. If you've then been in a career in a job where you're used to your salary coming in on a regular basis, you're used to PAYE. So yeah, you then have to get yourself used to the idea of it's a gig economy. You get paid when you work, so it's feast and famine a lot of the time. In terms of the industry, the industry is historically, we want young and beautiful people. The reality is that the vast majority of the population is over the age of 40. So more and more programming and more TV has to be geared and has to have parts for that industry. And there are less of us. Actor burnout is huge. And most actors have given up the ghost if they haven't made it, whatever that may mean, by the time they're 35 or 40. So actually the number of actors that sort of look like me and from my age range, actually is relatively few. So I mean relatively few. You're probably talking a few hundred, maybe 1,000, something like that. And so therefore the pool of talent is less, but it's therefore just as competitive. And
are you talking just in the UK though?
Yeah, generally speaking, it's sort of UK based. Yeah. I mean, I started this by getting into SA work, which is supporting artist extra work. And basically, if they wanted somebody of a certain age with a beard, the same 5 or 6 guys from 2 or 3 agencies would have essentially be going for it. And if they needed more than one, you kind of knew who it was going to be. So that gives you a little indication. And if everyone casts their mind back to certain people of an age, the same actors tend to start appearing in character roles quite a lot. Oh, I've seen him, I've seen him, I've seen him. And because casting agents get used to it, and their selection pool is relatively light. So no, you can find work. It's not a young person's game specifically, but it's still competitive to try and find work for sure.
So how do you find the work? Did you get yourself an agent? How difficult is it to get an agent? How do you actually go about finding work?
Yeah, it's staggeringly hard to find an agent, and that there's no point hiding that from anyone doing it. And it's also sort of seen as this great dam moment. Can you burst this dam, you get an agent, and then not much might happen after that either. I think if you're going into it fresh first time, there are sort of stages you need to think of it. You need to get the experience, you need to build a portfolio. It's like any other job. If you have no CV, no one will hire you. So you're going to have to spend some time preparing that CV that makes you hireable. And that means compromising on the type of work you'll do at the beginning. So at the beginning, I hadn't done any film work or TV work. So I've done a lot of stage work with AmDram and everything else, very, very different discipline. So I went and did some training. But I did the training after I had appeared on a few extra type things, just simply to get experience of what being on set was like, just to see the function of it. I did some prep. I read some books by Mel Churcher on acting on screen. That just gave me the confidence to sort of overcome the first stage 1 of imposter syndrome. That meant I then went, okay, I can see how this works. I'm not going to feel like a complete fish out of water. So one of the things I realized was I didn't know how to be on set. I didn't know what it was like to be on a film set. So extra work, so signing up to extra agencies to get that initial experience was hugely useful. It's not the world's best paid element, but it gives you an idea of how the industry works. Almost no extras become stars. I mean, that's just some kind of myth, but it's fine. And there are lots of different agencies that you can start with, from Universal Extras to Mad Dog, and they're great because they get you regular work. I did that. Then I obviously went on to things like Mandy and Backstage, who are non-agent casting sites where student films, short films, micro films, low budget features start advertising for actors. From that, you do little pieces of work that are no paid or low paid, and you just start to build up a CV of acting work. The more you do, the quicker it is. And from that, you then invariably will always get material sent to you that you can then use for your show reel. So you can then create a short 1 to 2 minute show reel of you acting in different scenarios. Then you're kind of set. You are then prepared. You will go and get your headshots done. You have all of that. Each piece of work you get in a feature film then makes you go to the next stage, or a TV show, or even live stage work, to getting an account on Spotlight, which is sort of the industry standard recruitment site. And you can join it without an agent. Most agents are not going to look at you unless you have a Spotlight account, because it's sort of seen as the filter. If you can get yourself enough work to get yourself on Spotlight, then you essentially have done the hard work for the agent. So getting the agent is critical, because that's the entry point to a relationship of casting directors, producers, that you simply won't have as an actor. You can't get them beyond making sure that you connect with anyone who's a producer or an AD on the projects that you work in.
But you have to put in the work yourself first before.
Yeah, I mean, the sort of the perspiration side of the business is huge, and you have to network, you have to engage. And there are a lot of online tutorials and things that will help you now. I mean, compared to what it was when I first looking at doing it as a student in 1993, which was nothing. And the reason I didn't go into acting at that time was I don't know how to. I had no idea how to do it. Now you are awash with tutorials, advice, loads, but also quite a lot of people out there sharking to try and make money off your dream. And you don't need to pay a whole load of money to have somebody to introduce you to things. Talent and perspiration are still the two most key things.
And with regards to getting an agent, like you said, is it easy to sign up to an agency for extras? Because a lot of, from what I hear about agencies, they won't take you on unless you've got paid credit work. And it's like, if you haven't got you know, you can't take your theatre portfolio if you've been in loads of AmDram and say, oh, I want to have an agent, because agents looking at paid credit work.
Well, so there's two different things. Extras agencies don't require you to have that much. Anyone can do that. That gives you some experience. Then if you're looking for an agent, a talent agent per se, they are only interested in what they can sell. So there's a lot of luck when it comes to finding an agent. Has that agent got a place on their books, an empty space that you fill? If an agent has got 4 or 5 guys who look like me, they're not going to hire me, because I've already got 4 other people competing for that work. So most small boutique agencies, which are the ones you're most likely to get as an actor starting up, are looking for types. So they'll want certain types. So if they don't have a square-shouldered 40 to 60-year-old guy with a beard, I'm a pretty good bet that they might want to hire me. And literally that's what you do. You go through the agency books and go, you seem to be missing me. You're selling yourself to the agent and saying, I offer you this. The agent might come back and go, don't care, go away, as many will. But it's the first exercise in rejection, which the acting world is pretty much built on rejection. I don't know, what did I do? 25, 30 agents that I wrote to over the course of 2 years until I found one. So yeah, it's
you have to have a lot of self-confidence and a lot of staying power.
You have to have, I tell you what, more important is resilience. And I think the greatest lesson you'll learn is nothing in this industry really is personal. People will talk about you as if you're not there when you're there. Oh, they're a bit old, they're a bit fat. Oh, he's a bit bigger in the face than I thought he was. His hair's receding a bit. Oh, it's not ideal, is it? And you're like, I'm here, I'm alive. But you have to, you have to accept that. You really do have to accept that it's not you they're not choosing. They've got an idea of what they want. They've got an idea of what they need. And if you don't fit that, you're going to get rejected. It's that simple. And if you remember that as a basic rule, you know you're not going to get, you can't get too hurt by it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all on the same. It's what they want when you're going into the acting world. Is you have to view yourself as a commodity. You know, you're not you the person. You are you the package. You know, you've got white hair. You know,
exactly. And I think people go into finding an agent with the idea of, I want you to make me successful. If you flip it round and go, how do I make the agent make money? You're an infinitely more attractive prospect for them. Because means you understand the business, you understand what's required of you. What's required of you is a level of professionalism, which is, what do I need to do to get the job? The agent only gets paid if they find you work. So it's a symbiotic relationship. It's slightly parasitical in that way, because they want to have something to sell so they can make money off you. And if they can't sell you, they can't make money, so they're not going to. So you've got to be as sellable as you possibly can be. So you find a lot of people say, well, I don't really want to do stage work and I won't do commercials. And you're like, well, that's a lot of bread and butter money for a lot of agencies. I found, there's not many major actors out there who didn't start doing commercials. It's horrific if you then get to the before they were famous showreel on Channel 5 late at night, when you suddenly realize everybody did a Crunchy Nut Cornflakes advert. But hey, Ben Kingsley was in Coronation Street and did a tea advert. It happens, everybody. Just accept that you need the work.
Yeah, you've got to build it from somewhere. And you mentioned sharking a bit earlier. What do you mean by that, and how can people avoid being sucked up by the wrong people?
Yeah, I mean, sharking is kind of common sense fraud, basically. It's where people say, hey, sign up for X and I will give you all this stuff for free. And you have to look at it and go, okay, do they have a place in the industry? Do they really have genuine contacts? Are they actually good? Are they actually bad? And there's no easy way of doing it. You just have to use your kind of common sense on it and say to yourself, yeah, okay, this looks like it's too good to be true. Anyone who's saying, if you pay me a fee and I'll give you part, is clearly lying. That's just not how the industry works. If a talent agent says, you need to pay a sign-up fee to join, they're not a real talent agent. Those are the big sort of headline ones. So there will always be people out there trying to make money. Photographers, there might be, you know, some will turn around and say, yeah, I do really great headshots, and it turns out they're not really, it's a hobby, they're a hobby photographer. You don't want to skimp money on your headshots. You don't want to skimp money on editing your show reel if you can't do it yourself. And there are people out there, just look at their past work, look at their recommendations, seek an endorsement. Anyone who's genuine will go, yeah, speak to X, Y, and Z. So like everything, it's don't allow your dream to get you carried away. Just keep applying common sense.
Yeah.
And talking about money, Stephen, you obviously need to have a little pot on the side, or you need to have some sort of income coming in while you're setting yourself up, because this all costs money.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to cost a huge amount of money, but you certainly are going to need to think about an investment scenario. Really good headshots are going to cost you somewhere between £200 and £500. Anywhere in that range is probably acceptable. And you're probably going to need to do those when you're younger every 3 or 4 years. As you get older, probably a little sooner. It depends. I mean, we've all seen those actors whose headshots are quite clearly 20 years ago. You know, that's you know, get real. We all age, we all change. And on that note, I need to change mine because mine were done 2.5 years ago. So but you're going to need to have a little bit of money behind you, and you certainly don't want to be giving up any job that you currently have to pursue it. What you want to do is find a way of having the two run parallel, because you're just not going to fall, or it's highly, highly, highly unlikely that you're going to fall into incredibly regular paid acting work immediately. I've been doing this, yeah, coming on for 3 years, and yeah, I still don't get regular work. I get irregular work, but it's a big supplement to how I earn my money. So you do need to have another pot of cash to come through.
Well, you've done quite a few things over the last 3 years. I mean, talk about the roles that you've played in some of the films you've been cast in.
So early doors, I'm I still do the occasional piece of extra work even now, but what I'm looking for on that is if it's a featured role, and that means where you work directly and interact with the stars of the film on set. And they generally only want to hire actors for that, even though they don't want to pay actor rates. Naughty of the industry, but that's what they do. So I got a part on Downton Abbey New Era, where I played an actor playing a role in a Victorian film that was being made inside the film was inside the film. And I got to spend 2 days on set with Dominic West, Laura Haddock, Michelle Dockery, and most of the major stars of the movie. I learned more from that experience than I probably did anything else. It was fantastic. I also got to work on the TV series Sandman, which is the Neil Gaiman one on Netflix. Again, just very small micro parts in the background, but again, great experience. I've also worked on an independent feature film called Waking the Beast, which is due out in the next 6 weeks, I think. I haven't actually gotten a final release date, which I shot last September, 5 days. That's playing the father to a young man on a hiking holiday, and he comes out while they're walking. And I just did a Viking independent movie where I played a giant berserker. Again, low budget, early door movies. They have a niche, they have a place. They're a great way for you to start and learn. And I've done a few other bits and pieces and a few other bits of TV series, but a lot of short films as well for young aspiring directors. And there's quite a lot of value in doing short films. They might be student based, they might be film student based, but they're also people post their student life, and they've got 20,000-30,000 pounds, and they're trying to make a really high quality short film because that's their show reel as directors and producers to get work from major production companies. And they're a really great way of building up your CV and building up your skills, and also building up your network as well.
So talk to us about the TV commercials you've been in.
TV commercials that I've done, several for startups, smaller businesses. And then the thing with those sorts are you get both the commercial, then you also get the social media elements and the corporate video elements flown into one. So I did that with a sort of a charity lottery company called Play Fund Win. More famously, I did, in terms of brand wise, I was in a series of online content for Hyundai, or Hyundai, as we should say, which is great because they're hiring actors to play members of the public. That's an interesting thing to note, is that when you see members of the public chatting and talking about, yeah, well, I bought this car, it isn't. It's invariably an actor, because they can't take the risk in having a member of the public not doing it properly. And that was mostly online content. And that's a big, big part of the commercial world now, is it's not just for TV or on film. It's the fact that you're then doing stuff that will be shared on social media channels and corporate channels as well. A few weeks ago, I was shooting for a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial, which was hugely entertaining. And 4 or 5 of us were sort of used as featured elements of that, and you have no idea which one of those they're going to use in the end take. It's classic corporate client. Well, we quite like them. We quite like this. We quite like that. And that was all filming, ironically, in Staines High Street, so we're not far from where we're all based. And I'm waiting to hear back at this very moment whether I'm playing an artisan baker in a major home appliance manufacturer. So we'll wait to see. Apparently I was down to the final 2. But you always take any information.
Sorry, is that quite well paid if you feature in a commercial?
Yeah, so again, the big thing with commercials is you don't often get paid much for the role itself, because you're probably only there a day. So the fee for a commercial like that is anywhere between a few £100 to maybe 1,000, 2,000, depending on how featured you are. Where it becomes interesting with a commercial is they don't want you to have been in many other commercials, because they don't want to have you as a competing face. And it's then the usage rights. So if the usage rights is just UK, you're probably looking at about £1,000 usage rights. Once it then branches out to Europe, or it goes globally, for 1 year usage rights, it could be £8,000–9,000 plus for that. And one of the reasons that gets paid so well is because you will then not get another commercial for a year. Because even in a competitor, non-competitive commercial landscape, say you've been in a kitchen appliance ad, that the next advertiser doesn't want to put you in their car, doesn't want to put you in, they don't want a familiar face. The idea is not, unless you are a famous person whom they are literally using to endorse a product, and that's a different game altogether. But yes, commercials do get paid very well.
Or if you take your beard off, so you can be a bearded person in a KFC ad, and you can be a clean shaven.
Yes, it could. And then if I'm signed up for another project 6 weeks later that require a beard, I won't be able to grow it back in time. The logistics of having a beard and keeping it and losing it are actually quite difficult to manage. That's an interesting one, because if the project doesn't specifically tell you keep the beard, keep your look, you're perfectly entitled to go away and change your haircut and change your beard. But if they do tell you to keep it, I mean, you guys will have seen me at various stages of length of hair, because I was playing a Viking or a slave or something in Britannia or whatever. And they specifically hiring you because you've got to look, and you can't go around chopping that and changing that. So you've got to kind of stick with it, and you go, I really could do with a haircut. But no, you can't.
But they must have put a wig on you as the Viking, surely.
They can, and they sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. I mean, basically, you've got to work on the principle that adding makeup, wigs, everything else adds cost for production. So depending on how big the production is, if they can cut the amount of time and money that is, they'll do it. And so they've worked out it's easier to say, yeah, you've got decent enough length hair, stay with it. But also with guys' hair, you need a certain amount of length of hair just to be able to put a wig on it. If you've got really short hair, there's nothing to clip the wig to. So you kind of either want to go no hair or lots of hair. Anything in between that doesn't work so well.
So what, are you hiding a man bun behind there?
No. It's all, this is short because I have no pending projects that absolutely require me to have any particular length of hair. I was actually able for the first time to go and have a haircut I wanted. That's the first time for a year.
Let's talk about the stage roles that you've had, because you've had some professional and you still work in AmDram.
Yeah, I do mostly AmDram, and stage work is lovely. One of the reasons why I'm not pursuing professional stage work particularly vehemently at this moment is purely because I have a son of a certain age, and I just couldn't, I wouldn't have the ability to go on tour. for 5 or 6 weeks, because the majority of good professional work will involve you probably being away from home. So that's the main reason. But in the next sort of 18 months, 2 years, that will completely change. So stage roles, yeah, love it. I've done 4 or 5 pantos, often playing the Dane, all the baddie, and the beard stays. So there's a novelty. Equally, AmDram stuff particularly really great fun, because that gets you to do farces and comedies. And the one I really enjoyed doing recently was just before Christmas. We did a local production for A Christmas Carol, which I'm sure you remember. And it was fabulous doing that. The end result of that was a real pleasure to be in. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic amateur production. It was excellent.
You made a good Scrooge.
I made a very well-fed Scrooge. That's the way I was selling it. It was like, Scrooge has always been portrayed as thin and miserly. It was like, no, we're going in a different direction with that. I enjoyed it. It was a great challenge.
It was a good
show. And your next one coming up?
The next one coming up is in end of June, and that's with Raspberry Players, and that is Murdered to Death, which is a spoof Miss Marple, sort of a comedy murder mystery, which I play Inspector Pratt.
Are you a Pratt? Is your character?
He is an absolute Pratt. The best way of summing him up is to think Inspector Clouseau, but English grammar school, and then you've got his character absolutely down to a T.
Oh, if you could have any role, like if money no object, agent no object, production no object, money no object, waving a wand, what would be the role that you would most love to play if you could?
Oh, well, okay, so full magic wand stuff. Yeah, I think I would have loved to have been James Bond. I think that definitely would have been cool. And I have this strange notion that they really need to make a TV series about what happened to Bond after his time in MI5, like retired Bond.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying to anybody out there, I am available to play retired James Bond. I've let myself go a bit. I think that he would too. I'm very good at drinking rum, and I can sit on the beach better than anybody. So I'm built for that. There were certain characters and parts to have been involved in Star Wars in some major way would be great. That would be huge. The kudos for that would be fantastic. But I mean, in terms of sort of real character-driven roles, it's difficult. It's not, when you get sort of play adaptations that come across you. And having another go, I did a stage version of Arthur Miller's Crucible, and I did that a long time ago, and I'd like to have another go at doing that. I wouldn't be playing John Proctor, I'm too old for that, but I could still go back and play Reverend Hale or Reverend Paris, and those are good. That's good meaty stuff, for sure. So something like that. Those are the sort of roles I'd love to play. Anything that's really character driven is an absolute dream.
Well, what would your top 3 tips be for actors such as yourself who decide to go into the industry later in life?
So tip number 1, preparation. And by preparation, that's allowing you to be prepared. So yes, that's get yourself on an acting course, actor studio, something like that. Get everything prepared ahead of time. So you want to get your headshots done. You want to sort out all your social media profiles. You are prepared so that when you go publicly out, you are in the best position to receive interest back in. Don't go into the tentatively and push the door open and go, hello, I'm here, because no one's going to notice you. So you've got to be ready. And you've got to be very clear about who you are. So if you've got an Instagram and a Twitter account, you are an actor. And you are not apologetic for partly being an actor, partly not. Just say you are and go for it. And be prepared. Do your reading, do your research. Reassure yourself of what you need to do. You're not in a rush if you're starting later in life. You've already waited however many years, so you don't need to run at it full tilt. Get yourself prepared, get yourself acclimatized. The next bit is then perspiration. You've just got to apply for work. There will be a lot of work that you go, I'm not absolutely 100%. Hey, if you're 75% right for a role, apply. apply. I mean, I would say at least 2 of the roles I've got, I didn't think I'd ever stand a chance of being cast. But you have no idea who else has applied, who hasn't applied, how popular it is, what they're really looking for. Always apply. And the more you applied for, the more perspiration you put in, with any job, the luckier you get, the more that comes your way. So, you know, if you can do the preparation and the perspiration, then you're in a pretty good spot. And then finally, everyone's going to suffer from imposter syndrome. You can't not get on the set and it's really, really hyper professional. And you go, oh, I'm out of my depth here. Or you can walk onto a set and it's just a bunch of students who are just having fun. And it's the thing to do is think about, it doesn't matter to you. Focus on your performance, focus on the character, stay absolutely true to what it is you're doing, and always give your best. I've already worked in my short time with actors who I can see are dialing it in, and I don't like that. That's not something I like looking at, where they're going, oh, well, it's only an old student thing. I don't need to put too much effort in. You're like, but, you know, one of these guys is the next Kubrick or the next Spielberg or going to be a DOP on a project, and you're being difficult. Why would you be that? So always focus on your professional performance and give as best as you can. And I think if you follow those rules, you won't go too far wrong.
No, I agree. And if you make yourself nice and memorable in the good ways on the set, people will invite you back. You'll get known to be a decent person to work with, and
Absolutely.
people will invite you back. If you're known to be a difficult, egotistical dick,
Pain in the arse. Absolutely. And by the way, you know, I think Michael Caine said it. An actor's got 3 jobs to do: turn up on time, know your lines, hit your mark. There are 70 other people on your average set that are making what you're doing happen. You don't need to make their job harder by not knowing and doing those 3 things. And basic politeness will always out. If you're rude and obnoxious, then you can pretty much expect people to not really want to work with you. I wouldn't. You're entitled to be slightly precious and make sure you get the best out of your report, but there's a way of communicating that. There's a way of expressing a need for everybody to perhaps be at a certain level. But you can do that. But there's no real need to be rude. I think that's key. Also, the reality of the thing is, actors think they're important, and we're just not. You know, we're one of 30 that could have been there doing the job. Be thankful you got the role. Do the best you can.
Absolutely. And without the editing technicians, and without the lighting crew, without the sound crew, without the sound crew, you're toast.
Make friends with the cameraman and the focus puller, because they're the ones that make you look good.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned that in television, where I got on very well with a cameraman, and in those days they did the lighting as well, and he made me look absolutely beautiful. And then we had a fight, we had a fallout, and the next time he was assigned to me, he deliberately lit me and shot me with a camera in a way that made me look like an old hag. Seriously.
There you go.
I couldn't put it out. I couldn't use it for my program because he made me look so awful. You have to really watch your P's and Q's when you're working in a team in a creative industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter where you are. And I think the context of it is unimportant. I mean, I volunteered to do for no pay a short film from a student. I got contacted by them. They wrote a really lovely letter and said, look, we'd really like to be in it. I'm sorry there's no money. I said, look, show me the script. Tell me what you're planning to do. If you can shoot on these days, I'll consider it. And it was a very interesting script. It was a very interesting concept. You could tell immediately how professional they were trying to be. I'm like, okay, I can give you 2 days of my time. It's no skin on my nose. I'm not doing anything on those 2 days. So I went down and played a father to a son in bereavement. What I loved about that was they thought, right, we've got an actor, you know, a paid actor, and he's given his time. And they were so on it, but they were just on it because they were really keen to make the best that they could. And a couple of times you could see they were going to compromise. And it was like, do you want to do another one? Do you want to take it? You're here, I'm here. Do it. Shoot another one, because the last thing you want to do is sit in an edit suite and go, oh, I wish we'd done one more. Yeah. And in that one, it was, you know, it was all hands to the pump. It started raining on location. Right, everyone pick something up, take it back to the cars, take it back to the van, take it, you know. And I was picking it up, so was the other actor, and you said, "Oh, thanks very much." I was like, no, folks, once we're all here, the idea is to make this the very, very best that it can be.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience, and very, very talented bunch as well. And I would say that the output from that, it's a little short film called Torn, virtually no dialogue, but it's a very powerful little piece. It's one of the best things I've done on film. And I'm really glad I signed up to it. And I think that's the other thing from an acting point of view is don't think about doing the occasional thing for free or a student production as being negative. In your early days, it is the best way of getting quality work that you can use on a showreel. And you will also make connections. Off the back of that, I've already had 2 people contact me and say, I am making a film in the summer. Would you be free and available to play a part in that? Yes. Now, I don't know where that will lead longer term, but that's you pay it forward is my advice.
And you never know when that door is going to open.
Never. And as far as I'm concerned, it will always pay dividends. There's nothing lost in being part of something and with a group of people that are passionate about it.
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Fabulous. Well, Julie, it's that time, isn't it?
This is the time where I roll my eyes.
It's that time. It's that time we're getting excited. Right, this is the time I bring out my cards that I love, my Values Jam cards, my precious cards that are so soft and lovely and just lovely, lovely, lovely. So I'm going to run my finger up and down the cards, Stephen. You're going to yell stop at any point.
Stop.
Pick a card. Oh, right. What have we got? Ooh, this is quite a good one for what we've been talking about too. It is a good one. Your card is collaboration. So we're going to ask you creatively, as we're creatives, about collaboration and what does it mean to you. So Stephen, collaboration, got the wrong glasses on. What does collaboration mean to you? What does it look, feel and sound like?
God, okay. Well, collaboration is, in business, it's an oft-used term, then they don't actually follow it properly. In the creative world, collaboration is an exchange of ideas, knowing that you're moving towards a common goal. So the common goal is absolutely critical, and the exchange of ideas freely is the next most important piece. And within that, you hope that everybody's individual skill sets gets a chance to show its relevance and be valued and respected. So what does it look like? Collaboration, I suppose, is any well-oiled team, any team that works fantastically well. It looks and does its job with an end goal. So like an F1 tire changing team, that's the ultimate element of collaboration. A finely tuned rugby line out. That's a beautiful example of sport collaboration. Theatre, really, really, really good, high quality production theatre like Life of Pi or the Frankenstein one that the NFT did. That's the beautiful example of creative collaboration creatively. You get brilliant actors, brilliant set designers, brilliant lighting, brilliant production, and then you create this whole, which would be nothing without all the other pieces that come together. So that would look like, what does it feel like?
Yeah, what does it feel like?
Oh, collaboration feels like great sex. You know, no one has great sex if the other person doesn't. Great sex is a two-way street, so that's the ultimate feel for collaboration for me. And the other one was smell. Was it smell like?
Okay, what does it smell like? What does it sound like? So yeah,
Sound like. Oh, like, well, collaboration is an orchestra, isn't it? But an orchestra that's not year 9 at school, the symphony, you know, the London Symphony or the Philharmonic, playing something, you know, playing some Rachmaninoff or playing some Tchaikovsky. That's the ultimate sound of collaboration, where this disparate group comes together to make a beautiful sound. Another one would be a fabulous choir. You know, that's another example of different collaborations coming together to create something beautiful.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. What does it smell like?
Fabulous cooking.
Fabulous cooking, yeah.
Probably,
Chicken on a Sunday.
probably the collaboration is watching. My partner is Greek Italian, so watching her sort of older female relatives, albeit a stereotype, watching them collaboratively cook, smell, and the way they do it, and it's ancient recipes, each with their own little secret. Yeah, and then the smells that emanate from that when they cook, stunning.
I just imagine, yeah, I can almost smell a nice Italian.
Yeah, that a really rich tomato
Aromatic.
sauce with a late addition of basil when it's coming through, and you almost, yeah, you can. I can taste
Stop it! Oh, my mouth's watering now.
No wonder you can't play a skinny Scrooge.
Yeah, can't play skinny Scrooge. I love to eat, love to cook. So yeah, it's and that and quite a lot of beer in my life. So you know.
Well, we wish you all the best for all your future roles. We're looking forward to seeing your stage play. That's Murdered to Death.
Murdered to Death.
Murdered to Death.
Right,
Yeah,
for anybody in the Berkshire area or anywhere around Berkshire, if you in that area, go and see Stevyn tread the boards. And
tickets available at raspberryplayers.co.uk. So
there you go.
That'll be going across your screen.
And so how would people get hold of you, Stevyn, if they wish to book you on their next film?
My email, StevynGlover at gmail.com. Stevyn spelled STEEVAN. I'm sure it will be there. Or via Instagram at Steve Glover. So you can find me on there. And again, you can't miss me because it's a silly spelling at STEEV.
And please make sure that every time you are about to pop up on the film screen or on our TV screens, please tell us, and we'll stick it up on the creative pages on Facebook and LinkedIn.
I will.
Yeah, then we can look out for you.
Thank you very much. I'll gladly do that. It's a long waiting game. You shoot, you wait 6-9 months until it comes out. But yeah, as soon as everything's out, I will gladly share it and let you all see it. And thank you very much for your time. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining
having you. It's been absolutely fascinating to learn more about the world of acting, and especially if you're changing direction a little bit later on. And yeah, it's been absolutely delightful, hasn't it, Julie?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Fantastic. Well, that's all we've got time for today. But if you are interested in collaborating and creating something rather special with fellow creatives in maybe your industry, maybe in a totally different industry, and you want some new, fresh ideas, come and talk to us about joining creatives. We'd love to hear from you. But on that note, thank you to our audience for joining us today. Thank you, Stevyn. Thank you, Julie. Until next time, we'll see you.